Let's look at our property stats. This is the second section just below the project schedule. Once you set up your schedule, you move into adding your property stats. So they talk about gross site area, density, site coverage, total built area, garden area, and so on. So let's look at what they are. So all these different things. So gross site area is your total site area of the block. Density FSR percentage, which is your floor space ratio area on which you're allowed to build, expressed as either a percentage or a ratio. It's also known as the coverage ratio. Your total site coverage, which is A into B, which is basically these two things. If you multiply them together, you'll get your site coverage area. And you can actually see that this is what the formula is. This is what the formula is for the ratio over here. Then you've got total built area, aka gross building area, total construction area, garden area, which is the same, and it's repeated. It's the only reason it is repeated because I wanted to balance this section out with this section. I didn't have much left, and some of these details are given by your architect, and you can actually come in and fill them in. And these details are required so that you understand, and we can do more calculations on calculating construction costs or calculating the saleable area or the leasable area and so on. So when you get all these details, you can actually go into the construction and sales section, which we'll cover later on, and put in those details for that. So you've got your actual site coverage or your garden area or your total built area. This is your total built area that you're going to be building. Total number of units, you don't have to put them here, but they can be put in at a later. When we get into the budget section, we can put in the details over there, and we've got all these details get calculated automatically. Then you've got a permeable area, which is 315, and you've got, if you don't know what that is, it's a material or membrane allowing liquids or gases to pass through it. So what that means is like an area that is not concreted and water can actually go through that area. And then you've got your net saleable area and your net leasable area. You've got total meter square and square feet area and so on. So these are your property stats that you must fill in, and everywhere you've got a blue, that means that area is editable. Now you've got the density FSR as a percentage. That means that if my total site area is 1407 square meters, I can cover 60% of that area by building on it. So 60% of 1407 is actually 844.2. Now, if in some places you'll see that there is a ratio given, which is the floor space ratio area, like 1.5 is to 1. So whatever you've got, you can do 1.5, or you could do 0.6 is to 1. So if you're familiar with that, this is keeping in mind that there is an international version as well as an Australian version, and even in Australia, I know that in New South Wales you get an FSR ratio, which is some 0.5%, like 0.5 is to 1. That basically actually means 50%, or if in some cases it's 2.1 is to 1. What is that telling me? That I could go at a higher, I could go higher up in the building and go more floors, or it's a high density area, and so on. So that is why it's there. But if you don't want to use that, don't use it. Leave it as 1 is to 1, or leave it as 0.1, or whatever you want to leave it at. But the moment you come in and put in 60% over here, it will, whatever cell is green, that's the cell being used to calculate the site coverage. So just be careful with this. If you end up deleting the formula in there, or you actually don't have to worry about the formula in any one of them. So even if you deleted something, that's no problem. If you delete this section, there's no problem. You can come back here and put in that ratio again, and you can get rid of this. So whatever is highlighted green is the one being used to actually calculate this formula right here. So it's fairly simple, and for available for everybody to have a look what that formula is. So we've got actual site coverage 803, and we've got all these areas from the construction and sales tab, and I'll show you how that works.